Welcome to One Angry Black Republican Podcast, the podcast where morality checks extremism. Now, today's topic is a very touchy one for me on many different levels, because ultimately, I'm going at, my sister Candace Owens' neck on this particular podcast. And, it's one of the reasons I kind of, fell back a little bit on, going at, Candace was because, in New Jersey specifically, I had been building up Blexit, for, nearly, several years now, 2 years to be exact. And, since I began the charge, for Blexit, Blexit was a black organization, dealing with the black exit of, Democrats from the Republican Party. And, I was, very taken by, the Candace storm, so to speak. I was all in the Candace storm. Okay. And, to the point where, anything I say now about Candace, I'm getting hit. I put up a post a couple weeks ago where I was, talking about some of the issues I've had with Candace, and I, wrote out, F Candace Owens. I was really upset with her analysis of, the George Floyd verdict. That was like, that did it for me. It was like, okay, all the gloves are off now. And, many of my friends on my timeline were coming at my neck like, oh, isn't that your Booski? And I mean, that sticks in my head. One of my friends was like, Booski. I was like, what? My Booski? But, black people funny. We funny like that. You know what I mean? And, black people got an algorithm that you got to be able to tap into in order to really get us. And it's hilarious watching people who, you can't just marry a black woman and think, you can't be a white man and just marry a black woman and think that you can understand black issues or you could tap into the black algorithm. Because 9 times out of 10, she's disconnected. In this particular case, Candace is completely disconnected from the black community. Okay? So disconnected from the black community that her viewpoint now takes on the same emphasis that, the white supremacists, gravitates or embodies. Okay. She's so disconnected from herself that, I remember one of the phrases, you stand up for something or you fall for anything, but so once you're no longer standing for the black community, you're falling for anything. Okay. And this is Candace Owens. But like I said, just like any relationship, sometimes, you're all in, to the person that, you're connected with. It's the same as any relationship. I was all connected to her ideology initially, because ultimately I didn't see the 3-card Monty of her thinking. Okay. She's like a 3-card Monty player. You know what I'm saying? So she sets up, this organization in the black community, and there's the ball is underneath one of the cards, and she's coming to black people, and she's telling you to pick the ball under the card, and she's flipping it from card to card, and then you don't realize that you can't get the ideology, the true ideology. I know when I read her book, the white boy that she was playing, who happened to be he ended up becoming the governor of Connecticut. They were friends in school, and she probably, the way the text reads, you can mask but so much, but when you put it out there in literature, it becomes free for our examination completely. And as I analyze this portion of her story, over and over again, and how she got this, quote unquote best friend white boy who, got some money and power. His family is like one of them white bully families that, where, the son is, some douchebag in town, but he's rich, and everybody, that wants to be cool or down, they gravitate towards, they let him, be like the resident douchebag. So he picks on anyone he wants to pick on, because he's a King Joffrey type, where he don't really got no real no real stain for himself. All of his stain comes from his parents. One of these bulldozer parent families where they just paved the way for Johnny, and Johnny Nagarelli. He reminds me of Johnny Nagarelli, in freaking Greece. T-Bird. He's one of these T-Bird types who, the cool white boy in town, and that's what she was. She was, the resident black woman, pissed off already. She got pissed off growing up in the hood, in the ghetto. That's where she got pissed off at black people. And, she probably got tossed around a few times, and, now she's this bitter black woman, and she walks into this white community and, gravitates towards the resident white boy, who the bully, and, she connects with him. And then when it comes down to it, what I'm saying, he with her because he want what he want. Let's keep it real. He wanted her. They probably had a couple of entanglements, at various moments, and then all of a sudden, she is getting, she get with it. She get with the one she gonna be with, and it's not him. You know what I'm saying? So, he come at her neck, on some, drunken one night, and he spills the beans, because he can't, stand up to the dude that she end up getting with. You know what I mean? So, he call her and, play, go at her neck, and she's strategic. She saves the recording and then waits for a strategic moment where she goes to she played the game. That's America. America's the game. You know what I'm saying? You play the game, you are able to exploit. Because that's what it's about. It's about exploitation. That's American capitalism. It's about exploitation. You know what I'm saying? She had, her emotional commodity. Because that's how, some Americans, they might not have a commodity to sell that is tangible, so they got that social commodity. She had a social commodity. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole game that, so many have played against each other in the community, especially in the black community, building up the social commodity. You know what I'm saying? You get with some dude, and he's not capable of handling the management of a family, but you're sleeping with him anyway. And then all of a sudden, you get pregnant by the guy, and now you got a social commodity. You know what I'm saying? You got him to look at now, to label deadbeat because, he's not socially prepared to handle the responsibilities that you knew he wasn't socially prepared for. So now he's a deadbeat because he's living the same life he's always lived with you, and now he's a deadbeat because he can't make the transition that you can make. That's using the social commodities around in order to advance self. That's a capitalistic reality. That's why capitalism is problematic in America. Okay? Or the intellect, the quasi-intellect who comes home from school, got this whole family, of intellects, and you parlay that and become, the Pied Piper in town. And so now you the Pied Piper Negro who commands the ignorant. You know what I'm saying? You the Pied Piper Negro. So you use the social commodities that are present in order to advance self. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And then the nepotism comes into play. You bring your boys, your cousins and them and all, and you know what I'm saying? And now you're reigning supreme for eternity. You know what I'm saying? Because you the new, Edward the Longshank. You're the new magistrate. You know what I'm saying? You parlay social commodities. And that's what Candace did. She gets this recording of this drunken, white boy, bully in town, rich kid, wilding out on her. You know what I mean? Use a B and use a, 8-ho, all this coming at it real reckless, one drunk. And then all of a sudden, he she's so distraught. You come from the hood, shorty. That didn't phase you. You waited. She waited with that information, that commodity, that tape. You know what I'm saying? To play that, I'm so broken. He devastated me, because you waited. And then all of a sudden, when the moment comes, you're in this meeting with all these, people, these social workers, and you're talking about your life, and all of a sudden you drop the bomb of that social commodity. And then all of a sudden, now the counselor, because you knew that. You win somebody over. This is that social commodity thinking, that capitalistic thinking where you win somebody over emotionally. You know what I'm saying? You've been working with them for months, and now you're all in. They're all into you. They feel for you now. So now, the moment comes where you drop the bomb in a open meeting with everybody. You play the tape. Oh my! And then it's like it causes this outrage. Oh my God! She was so violated by him. The context doesn't matter. The circumstances don't matter at that point. The social commodity now takes on legs of its own. So now she's all in the media, parlayed the moment. You know what I'm saying? And elevates herself and propels herself. But what we don't really realize is how that fractured way of moving, that emotionally fractured way of moving, okay? She's emotionally fractured already. And now she's parlaying a social commodity to exploit another, even though he probably deserved it anyway. She exploited him. And then, now you propel yourself into a quote unquote movement where you're now the champion of black people, but you still got that root of hate that's festering in you. So once you start to propel, it's like that. It's the emotional logic that she connected me with. Talking about her father as the sharecropper, her grandfather. She totally jumps over the mom and the dad. You know what I'm saying? Who she probably hates completely, because she only deals with in real a heartfelt way the grandfather, who ended up pulling her out of her debauchery. Okay, so, and I say all this to say, Candace has turned Blexit National, because this is how they get me. Okay, when Candace approaches me, through her flunkies in New Jersey, her black Republican flunkies in New Jersey approached me to get me to sign on to Blexit National, because I am Blexit New Jersey. Okay, anybody in New Jersey who has been listening and paying attention to politics throughout the last few years, I'm the face of Blexit New Jersey, and they knew that. Okay, they knew that. But at the same time, like I said, black people know how to play the social commodity game. We know how to, nestle into a person, Donnie Brasco him, so to speak, because I got approached by Donnie Brasco and the crew. You know what I'm saying? They already working for the white supremacist state. They're already conditioned and working for the state. I don't know this. I'm lefty. Okay, I'm lefty. I'm the old school, original teacher. For in working in the community. You know what I'm saying? Because some of us like X, we can't be bought. Can't be bought. You can't buy me with capitalism. Okay, you can't buy me with capitalism. You might be living in the lap of luxury right now. Got your big house on the hill, got your big car, got your big toys, and you live in lavish, while the masses of us are, getting it or getting it out of the mud and just barely surviving in this situation. Okay? And there's gonna come that moment where, the giant falls to his knee. There's gonna come that moment. And, if you study history, you know this. That moment's coming. Where the imperialist is going to, the oligarch is going to fall to his fat ass knee. And all of the greed that has been consumed over the world is going to spill out. It's going to spill out. And that's when the meek will rise. God said it already. The meek will rise at that moment. Huh. Wait for it. The meek will rise. You know, and then when there's rebalance brought back to the world, you know, what are you going to do when we all sitting in the field together trying to figure out how to build state again? You know, and they're looking at you, Puff Daddy, and you've been exploited. Now you on my level? You better get out of my face. You better get out of my face. And that's Candace. You know, who now, you know, is the champion of, you know, the analysis that the white, social commodity seeker is projecting on to the black community. If you don't understand, and you know, one of my sisters brought this to my attention this morning, critical race theory. You know, I got some, you know, white friends on my timeline that are really, you know, don't even realize how racist they are. You don't even realize how racist you are. Anytime you're always taking the position, you know, trying to put black people in the position of the problem, you're a white supremacist because you don't understand critical race theory. You don't understand the reality of how racism has affected our entire, you know, our DNA, so to speak. You have no understanding of that. And you shouldn't speak on it. Because when you speak on it, your true racist ideology comes out. Your true racist persona comes out. And, you know, so, you know, Candace is in that place right now of absolute bitterness. She's so bitter against the black community that she cannot see the perpetuation of the white supremacist agenda in her own analysis now. And, you know, the George Floyd verdict was like proof in the pudding of that. But in looking at and examining the Blexit reality, see, my Blexit organization, you know, is a foundational organization that is focusing on pulling black people out of the democratic mindset, that plantation way of democratic thinking, and pulling them into a more sound black consciousness way of moving and thinking about the world. And I see that, you know, I'm trying to reorganize black Republican thinking because black Republicans are just as problematic in terms of their thinking. Okay, so trying to galvanize that, constituency and pulling them into a more black conscious place. That's the purpose of Blexit New Jersey. Okay, that Blexit National group and even the splinter groups that were created, sparked by Blexit New Jersey, mind you, all those splinter organizations of, you know, black Republicans who have been, usurped by Republican thinking, old guard Republican thinking. You know, the Republican Party has been taken over by a bunch of white capitalists who are racist, unfortunately. And, you know, black Republicans, traditional black Republicans, have fallen under that mindset because they don't have a voice of their own. Blexit New Jersey is defining the voice of black Republicans moving forward because people like Candace Owens no longer speak for the black community. They no longer speak for the black community. They can't speak for the black community. Okay? So moving forward, I'm going to be dealing with this issue, because I'm going to sound, you know, like I'm disgruntled. You know, I had an opportunity to work with Candace, so I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. Okay? I did the work and put in the work. Okay? So, you know, I'm going to be the antithesis of, you know, Candace Owens moving forward. Okay, so yes, I'm going to do a lot of talking about this woman and her ideology, and really working to expose the white power agenda that is coming through Blexit National and all of its splinter groups, including Blexit New Jersey, that works underneath the Candace Owens national brand. Okay. Specifically that group and that organization. Okay. So with that being said, look out for. Remember, subscribe to One Angry Black Republican podcast. Peace out till next week.